This is a photo of Frederick Douglass, obviously one of the most important black figures in 19th century American history, one of the most important abolitionists, and the most photographed man in 19th century life. More so than Mark Twain or Lincoln himself. Now, Frederick Douglass was a sharp cookie, and there was a reason why he needed to be photographed. Here's what he had to say. We can never have impartial portraits at the hands of white artists. It seems to us next to impossible for white men to take likenesses of black men without most grossly exaggerated their distinctive features. Douglass was basically saying that the invention of photography was a safeguard against the racist impulse of white artists. Suddenly, you had a more objective way to look at life, to photograph black culture, photograph black life and all life. Why is it that the most marginalized groups in American society tend to be the earliest adopters of technology? Well, it's precisely Frederick Douglass's point. When white people get their hands on technology, it stands to reason that some of their more atavistic impulses are going to make their way in the use of that technology. But usually when white people figure out the use of technology, that's already well in play. But we're seeing that with the wholesale erasure of women and black figures on American government historical sites. We're seeing this with the anti-DEI rhetoric. Technology then is used by marginalized groups to chronicle their culture, to innovate that technology further. I mean, all you have to do is look at the history of disco. Who were the pioneers in that field? Well, they were all gay. Then white people swoop in and completely destroy all those achievements. But there's always a new piece of technology, and the marginalized groups are there. But this terrible game of chicken continues. Here is my culture, here is my life without your white eyes, and here is racism from white people destroying those achievements. This is the history of technology. It really hasn't changed much since Frederick Douglass. Hell, why do you think they want to ban TikTok? People who aren't white have told their story. Palestinians were able to show you what they were going through. But white people are going to white, and white people are going to demolish that technology. When does this hideous cycle end?